And we come praising our God as the angels do, because they knew and they know that Jesus Christ is the Savior of the world, and they are wonderfully desiring that unity of faith that Jesus desires for us, so that we all enjoy worshiping with them at the throne of heaven when Jesus comes back. In 1768, a man named John Dickinson wrote a song called the Liberty Song. It was a song that was meant to bring together the 13 colonies in the impending revolution that was going to happen from the colonies to England. And in that song, the Liberty Song, in the last verse, John Dickinson wrote these words. And so hand in hand, or join hand in hand, Americans all. United we stand, divided we fall. And those words, united we stand, divided we fall, became very much a rallying cry for the Revolutionary War. And an understanding that you had these 13 very different colonies. They were different agriculturally, they were different socioeconomically, they were different in the way that they lived. Completely 13 different separate colonies that were trying to be brought together and united in this cause for freedom and liberty against England. That was in 1768. And that rallying cry worked. United we stand, divided we fall. And it took some work, but the 13 colonies got themselves together and they figured it out as much as they could, and they rallied because they needed to do that in order to let the rest of the world know that they were serious. We want to be free. We want to be United States of America. And we want the world to know that we are united in this one cause of freedom and liberty. And so they got themselves together and they united themselves and they fought that Revolutionary War and they won the Revolutionary War and they became the United States of America. And how wonderful it was to have that name and to say we are united as one. But you know what's really interesting is that it didn't really take very long before that United States of America started to become disunited, if I can use that term. You see, it wasn't but until 1790, and now I'm trying to remember what the date is because I don't have it with me. In 1790 something, that Virginia and Kentucky brought some resolutions before the United States Congress in which they said, we don't want this united government so much. We want states' rights. We want to have our own autonomy. We want to be out here by ourselves doing the things. And we don't want all this government, this centralized government. We want to be not so unified, they said. And Patrick Henry, in one of his very last speeches, I think it was his last speech, brought back that old phrase from 1768 and against the Kentucky and Virginia resolutions and said, we can't do that. We can't be disunified now that we're unified. We need to be united. And he said, united we stand, divided we fall. Unity is a wonderful thing, and it's something that we really strive for. As Americans, we want to be unified, but we know that even as we call ourselves the United States of America, there's a lot of differences of opinion. There's a lot of differences of ideologies. There's a lot of differences just in general. You go from one state to another, and the laws completely change. And you got to figure out what you're doing. We are united in the fact that we are the United States of America, but there's different political parties with different agendas. There's different socioeconomic statuses. There's differences in the way people talk, depending on which area of the country that you are. We are united, yet at the same time, there's a lot of disunity, even in our United States of America, right? But sometimes we do come together more than what we do on a regular basis. Say things like 9/11 happen. And all of a sudden, all these people with different agendas and different thoughts and from different areas of the country that seem to have nothing in common, all of a sudden they bind together again, right? When there is a particular cause that we can unify ourselves under. And when 9/11 happened, that was huge. It seemed like for a while, the country was united, unified with one another. But we know that kind of lasted for a while, and then it didn't seem like we're so patriotic anymore as a unified group, as a country. Unity is something that's good, and it's well worth going after, but it's hard. It's very difficult to find true unity. Even in a marriage, it's hard to have true unity, although God says, right? The two shall become one. You still have two people that have differences of opinion and different thoughts and different things. Unity is very difficult to come by. But unity is what Jesus Christ, our Savior, desires for believers. He desires unity among believers. And on the very last night before he went to the cross, on Maundy Thursday, the very last words that he spoke before he went to the Garden of Gethsemane and was there arrested was a prayer. We call it his high priestly prayer because he was interceding for us, and he was talking directly to the Father on our behalf. And in that prayer, it had three parts. First, he prayed for himself, for the strength that the work that he was going to be doing on the cross. And then he prayed for his disciples, that they would not fall away, but that they would stick with it, and that they would be able to go out and proclaim the good news of what Jesus was doing by dying on the cross for them and rising again. And then in the third section, he prays for all believers from that time on. And so Jesus, 2,000 years ago, prayed a prayer for you and for me. And it's that section of the prayer that we're going to look at this morning as Jesus prays to the Father that all believers have unity in Him. If you pull out your bulletin, we'll read the paragraph on the bottom of the page there. There is another paragraph on the next page, so be ready for that when we get there. Jesus says, as he's praying, "My prayer is not for them alone." He's talking about he had just prayed for the disciples, specifically the 12 disciples. "My prayer is not for them alone. I pray also for those who will believe in me through their message, that all of them may be one, Father, just as you are in me and I am in you. May they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. I have given them the glory that you gave me, that they may be one as we are one, I in them and you in me. May they be brought to complete unity, to let the world know that you sent me and have loved them even as you have loved me." It's a beautiful prayer, isn't it? That Jesus offers up on our behalf. He says, "Father, I have this great desire that the people who will believe in me will be united.